name is Daniel Rizzo, and today we're going to be learning about Operation Barbarossa. It was the German attack on the Soviet Union that took place during June 22nd, 1941. The Germans, being led by Adolf Hitler at the time, they were up against the Soviet Union, whose leader was Joseph Stalin. So the operation was rooted on Hitler's rising suspicions on Stalin's invasion or possible attack against him, because Stalin is a communist while Hitler is a fascist, which they were on different spectrums and is a very bad mixture of allies. So Hitler wanted to knock out Stalin out of the war because he knew eventually that Stalin was going to turn on him, and he was going to have a war on two fronts, on the east and west side, which Hitler didn't want in the first place. And at this time, Hitler also learned that Stalin, or the Soviet Union, took over some Romanian oil fields that Hitler was using in order to fuel his new weaponry, new machinery, the tanks and the new machine guns he's got. So desperate, Hitler needed that oil resources, and he knew that Russia also had some more oil in stock. And so Hitler attacked first in the invasion, which caught Stalin by surprise. But it was later, as Hitler progressed through Russia, he was surprised on how easy it was to take over majority of it, up until the point where he had made it to Stalingrad. No, before this, Stalingrad was being bombed on by the Luftwaffe, which was Germany's air force. So it was bombed, and so essentially it made it a good place to take over, because essentially you're cutting off the head of a snake. So you could be able to easily take over Russia. But due to planning failures, this operation took place very close to winter, in which during Russia it's very extreme weather. And of course Hitler did not take that in consideration, because he wanted his operation to take place earlier, around May and June. And so at that time, Russia was very backwards. They still had primitive, like World War I weaponry, while Hitler had developed new science, new metal weapons, which was very bad because in the winter, the metal shrinks, and so their perfect precision weapons soon became a failure, or rather a flop, compared to Russia's primitive weapons that withstood the cold and didn't really shrink that much. And so the Russian winter hits, and the Germans even though they took 90% of Stalingrad, winter hits and essentially turns the tables, in which it causes the Russians to be able to fight back and reclaim their city. Russia's tactics, of course, were very different, because they had the manpower of over a million people versus Hitler's 330,000 soldiers. So Russians counterattacked, and the resulting effects was essentially that Russia became an enemy to Hitler's Germany, which essentially caused the Russians to join the Allied forces onto the fight against Germany. And so Germany lost many supplies because their supply lines were also cut when they were invading Russia. And that's pretty much it.